Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, 84-year-old woman missing out of Pima County, Arizona. Tonight, we're going to be talking about, is there another note that they haven't told us about? Stick around. There's a lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace. Smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I'll bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm in a breakable soul, dressed in truth and pearl. The fight don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul through the fire and flame. My
Thank you, love.
scars are stories,
Thank you,
my
girl.
strength,
Thank you, baby.
my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Let's
Hold
go.
up, hold up, lights on. Chat in the room, another late night and another headline blooming. Coffee going cold, but the story got heat. And one little detail keep tapping my screen. Coming in clutch when the timeline bends. We don't just scroll, we connect loose ends. Somebody said nah, that's probably enough, but the chat said Justin, we're coming in clutch. Run that back, don't rush that part. Something fell wrong from the very first start. Different day, same shaky excuse, and the math ain't mathing when we check the proof. I'm not here to play detective for fame. I'm here when the story starts changing names. One clip, one call, one post too much, and the whole room knows we're coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, yeah, the facts stay loud. Truth don't hide when we bring the crowd. Screens lit up and the chat don't sleep. We dig real deep where the stories get steep. Pearls in the chat, lights in the back. Somebody better explain why the story went flat. You can dodge one question, maybe dodge two, but the internet clock what you said don't cue. Wait. Say that again, you said it was there, then it wasn't back then. You said you forgot, but the record got saved. Now the chat's wide awake and the room just changed.
Coming in clutch when it all gets strange. When the facts get buried and the tone starts change. We don't need drama, the truth does enough. That's why they pull up, we're coming in clutch.
Late night crew, yeah, we built this thing. One live stream turned to a whole damn ring. Members in green miles holding it down. Whole chat moving like a small town crowd. No fake hype, no lazy spin. Just one more clue and we're back again. If it don't sit right, we don't let it slide. We put the detail right up on live.
Coming in clutch, say it one more time. Whole room locked on the very next line. From the first red flag to the final touch. You know where to be, we're coming in clutch.
When the screen fades out and the night gets still, somebody somewhere knows truth comes real. We'll be right here when the next facts drop. Coming in clutch and we don't just stop.
Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is August 19th, 2026. It is currently 10:34 p.m. the East Coast of the United States. Yeah. How you guys doing? Thank you guys so much for joining me. Just I'm trying not to I'm really trying to hold it together right now, guys. I apologize. Um can't hear me. Perfect. Hopefully let me check my mic. Mic. Okay, we're good. Um I look blurry and you can't hear me. Sounds about right. Is it my computer or is it just blurry? I look blurry? Am I blurry? Let me know. You can hear me. I look underwater. I sound underwater. That might be better. I don't know. I can hear you, but I look blurry. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we all drank too much. Little blurry. Let me go back and come back in. Hopefully that is better. Hopefully that's better. We hope so. Um, yeah, blurry and deaf chat. Yeah. Yeah, Willem, I was just watching. I am just I'm just really emotional right now, to be honest with you. I was about ready to not even do this live stream, to be quite honest with you. Um, so I was just over in I did a live stream earlier on Sebastian, and then I had to go do get some last minute things for school. I have three kids. My kids are about the same age as Sebastian, um, in that vicinity, and I just can't imagine. I really just can't imagine um, what some people go through. I really can't. I just cannot imagine sometimes. And you think about, I was just with my boys just a little bit ago, and it's just not, there's just not enough time. And then Mr. and Mrs. E were in there in the chat, and Kris and Karen, they showed their kid that they lost. And it's just a lot sometimes. I just my heart breaks for a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot. Uh, so I don't know. It was just a lot. I was just. You never know how much time you have. Nobody does. Nobody does. And you just enjoy the time you got. You know. just enjoy the time you have together, because it is truly, I've worked in hospice, I've worked in funeral homes, and I've done a lot of other stuff, but it is truly, every single moment is a gift. It really is. My son is 18 and a senior. Congratulations, Lily. Yeah. So I don't know. It was just all of it, just the last, 24 hours in Sebastian's, all this crap going on. And then I'm just so grateful for Kris being on, talking about Sebastian, because that's a even bigger platform. Kris has a lot more resources and stuff. And, I don't know, it was just that. And then, Mr. and Mrs. E was in there. And they just lost their son Cole. And then, Kris lost his son, and just, a lot of loss, So, anywho, I almost canceled the live, but we're here. Don't forget to call your parents. My mom died suddenly from COVID, and I regret not calling her enough. Oh, Clippy, yeah. When my mama died and my dad, I am very thankful, because the last two things I told them, they both died unexpectedly, again, very quickly. Just didn't have any idea that they would literally fall over dead. And the last thing I told them both was I love them. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, it's a club nobody wants to be in, Lolo. Yeah. I'm praying so hard for Sebastian if they get my surgery and he backs up. What's hunting for him? Yeah. I do think things are going to happen for Sebastian. I do. We're not going to stop. So, thank you, Jacqueline. All right, guys. Talking about Nancy Guthrie case tonight, and kind of talking about the letter that some interesting things in that. But if you would be so kind, please, y'all, and hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would consider sharing this live out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. And if you would consider hyping this video, you get 3 hypes a week. And if you don't use it, you lose it. You have to do it after the live stream on any of your mobile devices. Okay, so please don't forget that. Also, comment down below. I lost my mom 18 years ago, and it's still hard. You never get over it. Yeah. I mean, you know, like before, like, you love your mom and dad and your siblings and all of that to the nth degree, until you become a parent, and then you just don't even think there's any other love that is greater until you have a kid. And then it's just nothing else that can't explain it. You just don't know until you've been there. Today is day 200 in the Nancy Guthrie case, right? Sorry guys for snotting in your ear, but it just is what it is. It's live. Today is day 200 in the Nancy Guthrie case, and I'm sorry, Sharon. I love you too, darlings. I love you guys. You guys are the best, truly the best. And we're going to talk about, is there another note we haven't seen? Joan Marie, thank you so much, my love. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for the floating heart. Miss Patty, thank you for the gold coin. Clippy, thank you for the happy poo. Appreciate you, love. Joan, thank you for the clutch. Giggle, thank you for the floating heart. And Connie, thank you for the 14 months, my dear. Appreciate you. God bless you for all you do. Thank you very much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Absolutely. Some people can't have kids. Absolutely. And you have pets and nieces, nephews, maybe, whatever. You gotta, everybody's family is different, right? Okay, so want to go to our friend Brian Entin, and let me go to this. Which one should I go to first? Let's go to, let me go to this real quick first. Day 200, KVOA did a piece. 200 days. Just absolutely nuts.
84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the armed and masked suspect caught on camera outside her home, remains unidentified and on the loose. No arrest, no sign of Nancy, and no answers about what happened to her.
Thank you, Fifi.
News 4 Tucson's Monica Garcia has been following this case from day one and joins us live outside our studios from the massive banner that has become a national symbol of a community still waiting for answers. Monica.
That's right, Sean. And no one could have imagined that Nancy Guthrie would still be missing today. We know that the Pima County Sheriff's Department, the FBI's elite team, they have been on this case, but our sources close to the investigation, they tell us that these folks are still no closer to finding the person responsible, no closer to finding Nancy Guthrie. So
no closer, they say. Some people believe that. Some people believe that they're further along. They're just putting it together.
You can see a good look at that banner. This is what we're talking about. We are closer to people in our community, people who just drove by right now, honking their horn, saying that they have not forgotten her. We watch people drive by weekly. After nearly 7 months, Nancy's disappearance still feels personal to them.
For 200 days, people have stopped here. Some pull over and sit in their cars for a while. Others get out. They leave rocks. They write messages.
Look at all the rocks. Do y'all see all the rocks there? That's so nice. Let Nancy come home now. Nancy come home. Some look like fish. Bring Nancy home. Love from Scotland. Nancy come home. Prayers. That's just
They
amazing.
write messages, sign their names.
The fact that people are still coming out to well wishes and prayers and whatnot, people in Tucson, we care.
This massive banner outside News 4 Tucson has become more than a reminder that Nancy Guthrie is still missing. It's become a place where strangers come to hope and wonder how 200 days can pass without bringing Nancy home.
Never seen such horrendous, horrible things happening in Tucson.
For some, Nancy's disappearance has changed more than this community. It's changed how safe they feel in their own homes.
I live alone, yes, and
I would think so.
You don't know what's going to happen. Luckily, I have 2 big dogs.
Months later, the question remains, who is this person and what did they do with Nancy?
Can't believe that she could disappear that cleanly
and
not have somebody know.
You remember Isabel Solis? The stuff happens so close to home. And it kind of gives you that message that this could happen to anybody at any time.
And without a motive or any developments in the Guthrie case,
that
remains a big concern in this community. In the meantime, this banner continuing to be an outlet, a small reminder that even as the days go by with no answers, Tucson isn't forgetting Nancy's name.
That's something. That really is. I can't imagine the pain of having a missing family member. The lack of closure would just be unimaginable. Yeah. I mean, you're right, Sarah. I haven't talked about my reasoning or anything like that, but you guys know I've told you guys I've had a They're in my immediate family, and it changes you forever. It changes the family forever. It really does. So, oh my God, Miss Connie, thank you so very much. That's incredibly generous of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Miss Connie. Appreciate you very, very much. I really do appreciate you, Miss Connie. Very generous of you. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, make sure you give our Connie Cruz a big, big thank you.
Pearl storm, that's too much for me. Pearl storm, coming in clutch. Pearl storm, I can't get enough.
Oops, thank you so much, Miss Connie. Appreciate you. You gave me a minute to wipe my snotty nose. Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Connie. Very sweet of you, my dear. Really, really very generous. Thank you, Fifi. A yellow ribbon for Nancy Guthrie. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you, Fifi. Thank you, babies. You're very kind. I appreciate you. Summer Breeze, thank you so much, my guy. Thank you so much for 4 months, baby. I'm sorry you guys are having such a difficult day. Please take care of yourself. Love your channel. Thank you so much, Summer Breeze. You know, I'm not having a difficult day. You know, I'm really not. I'm just, for me, it's just heartbreak for others and just gratitude, really, just gratitude for, you know, what you do have and the time that you do have. You know what I mean? That's why I end my live streams every day and say you only get so many trips around the sun, because you really only get so many trips around the sun and you just don't know when it's going to stop. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for your support, my dear. I really do appreciate you. Attitude of gratitude. That's right. That's right. And I always try to come on here, you know, giving the best attitude I can. So I 1 second here, guys. I apologize. One second. Okay. Yeah. And, you know, just having a good attitude. I changed, or one of the books that changed my life was, it's called Attitude is Everything. And you got to have a good attitude. Okay. So, sorry, guys. I apologize. Okay. So, we are going to be, let's go to Brian Entin on this. Something very interesting here that we're going to talk about. I often forget the very thing I used to teach my special ed preschoolers: be a shiner, not a whiner. That's so cute, lovies. That's so cute. Yeah. It's called Attitude is Everything. It's not a big book. It's by Jeff Keller. What I do. It's hard to find sometimes. I think you find it maybe on Amazon or eBay or something like that. I'll be an official Pearl one of these days, but I'm a Pearl. Thank you so much, my darling, for being here. We appreciate you. We understand not everybody can be a member. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for being here. That's what matters. Love you too, Miss Robin. Okay, here we go.
That I have been thinking about and going over that I think could mean that there is possibly another note that is not being publicly discussed in the Nancy Guthrie case. And again,
Is there another note? is there another note? And I kind of feel like there always has been. Think about this: the first note, we learned it almost seems like it was almost pre-written, and the dates don't really match up. I'm kind of wondering, is there a note in the middle or another one? Brian's going to explain this in some of his reporting. Very interesting. I got some thoughts on it.
Explain to you exactly why. So let me start out, first of all, by going back to the notes that the sheriff, and just kind of bear with me here. I'm gonna kind of walk you through my thought process here, and then I'm gonna talk to a clinical police and forensic psychologist who kind of specializes in these investigations. But let me walk you through my thought process here. So remember, the 6-month mark after Nancy went missing, the sheriff's office officially released 2 notes that they say were received in connection to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And they released these notes after the media had already made most of the notes public. And the media was able to do that because these are the notes that went to the local TV stations in Tucson. And the second note that was released by the sheriff's office, this is the one that said, "Guthrie family, we did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome."
Oh, remind me, I got to talk to you guys about where they found the body. I've got some more pictures of that where kind of everyone was freaking out thinking, oh, it could be Nancy. Well, it's not Nancy, but I still want to talk about the area of
We
that.
want your family to know this and hope you can all find peace. Hope you all can find peace. And this is the part I want you to listen to. We are truly sorry. So that note says we are truly sorry. The note released by the sheriff's office. There was an apology, a very clear apology at the end of that note.
Baby.
We are truly sorry. Now, you may remember a little more than a month before this note was released, or around that time, I reported from a source that there was no apology in the note. Okay?
Yes.
And it was.
Yes. Okay. And you remember, Brian did say that, right? There was no apology in the note that he had heard. He did report on this. Who apologizes? That's a kidnapper. Right. It's always been weird because the first note says we want the money. Nancy knows how, what's going on. And if you don't give us the money, we are going to unalive her, right? Well, second note that came out, it's like, we're really sorry. We feel for you and, your family. She died. Sorry about that. Hope you guys can move on. I mean, shit, I just exited out of it. 1 second, guys. I just exited out of it. 1 second. I do apologize on this. Okay, here we go. Can't believe I just exited out of that. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. I'll get it together tonight. It's late.
In the note.
Okay. The apology.
And it was, obviously I wouldn't report it if I didn't have a good source that there was no apology. And I was surprised when the sheriff's office released the notes and in this one said, we are truly sorry.
I noticed that. I did notice that because there was a little bit of different reporting on some of the things the note said. And there's been a bunch of different reporting throughout this case. So for me, I didn't take it as anything unusual because, again, the reporting has been off the chain with Some person will report this, the other person will report exactly the opposite, right? Some people will say that the Pima County thinks that, they were looking at really hard at Tommaso, and then other people's like, no, not at all, right? Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you, love. Thank you for the 100.
Because there was clearly an apology. So I was kind of left to wonder, like, where did sort of the wires get crossed here? I was told that there was no apology very clearly from a source that I trust, but then the note is released and it says, "We are truly sorry," which "we are truly sorry" to me is clearly an apology. But this is what I also think, and I trust my source. This is what's also interesting, though. Around the time that I reported that, and again, this is before the notes were publicly released, that I reported, according to a source, that there was no apology.
Okay, listen.
NBC News also reported that there was no apology. And you can see this headline that they also had an article, It said, "Nancy Guthrie case, second note sent to media outlet said she had died."
Okay, the note didn't include an apology for allegedly taking Guthrie, but it expressed regret over her passing. 3 people familiar with the matter told NBC News. Okay, thought one said Savannah. One did say Savannah, the other one said Guthrie family. Now, seems like, in my opinion, that NBC and Brian have the same source, because they're obviously reporting the same thing, right? Let's just be real about it. Brian reported that there was not an apology. NBC reported that there was not an apology. So what's going on? The only thing I can think is Nancy bought a house for A&T and someone A&T found it. I don't know.
The note did not include an apology for allegedly taking Guthrie, but it expressed regret over her passing. 3 people familiar with the matter told NBC News. So this is now an NBC News report from back before, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but I kind of want to make sure I'm making sense. This is an NBC News report from before the notes were released that says the note did not include an apology for allegedly taking Guthrie, and they are sourcing 3 people familiar with the matter. Okay.
3.
They also put this tweet out, NBC News.
Now look, watch this.
That said, "The second note sent to media outlets following the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie indicated she had died, but contained no apology or request for payment for the release of her body. 3 people familiar with the matter told NBC."
Again, they got highlighted no apology, but contained no apology. This was June 28th. July 20. We're like 2 months ago, nearly 2 months ago. This is making the sheriff look really suspicious, in my opinion. It's crazy, isn't it? How do you know everything about Nancy's house, but then totally skip the fact that the hostage will be elderly? The math is not mathing. So in my opinion, Pima County can't be trusted. Fuck no. Hell no. No. Sheriff Doofy. No.
So again, no apology. This was on June 28th. This is around the same time that I also reported that there was no apology. Fast forward a little more than a month, and the sheriff's office releases the notes, and there's very, very clearly an apology. So what does this mean? What I am confused by is, again, I trust my source, but also the fact that NBC News said that they have 3 people familiar with the situation who told them that there was no apology. And I have just always believed, and I know that the reporters at NBC reporting on the Guthrie case are independent from Savannah Guthrie, who is obviously the victim in the case. But I think we all just have to accept, Savannah Guthrie works at NBC News, okay? And many of these Nancy Guthrie stories are airing in the Today Show, where she is the anchor. So the fact that she works there and that they had this report, according to 3 people familiar with the situation, saying that there was no apology, and that it was never corrected, and that that report is still online and it is still on Twitter, and Savannah Guthrie never corrected it.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's still there. So and that to me holds a lot of weight.
I wonder
because,
that too,
again,
Mohawk.
Savannah works at NBC News. So if there,
yeah, I mean, is Savannah giving sources? Is she? I mean, she's an anchor, and she is obviously very well versed. This is her mother's disappearance. Could Savannah be giving sources out to the media? In my opinion, it's possible. It is strange. Something is afoot here.
there was something incorrect that they were reporting, and she's been on the Today Show most mornings, you would think that she would say, hey, like, there actually is an apology. And
right. I agree with Brian, right? Like, NBC, who she works for, is reporting this, right? Why wouldn't she go to where she works and say, no bueno, guys, sorry, no, there was an apology for this, but yet 3 people tells Brian and NBC, and I'm sure others, that there was not an apology. So is there another letter, or are the wires just that fucking twisted? It really does, butterflies. It really does. For clarity, they were aware of her physical state. They said in the note, how do you know how to execute the entire thing? But the elderly woman part, they had no clue of. Well, they said, no, actually, Jacqueline, sorry. They said that they weren't aware of her fragile condition. You know what I mean? NBC is Brian Entin talking. NBC is in Brian Entin talking about the same note. We are dealing with the 2 different communications, right?
And your 3 sources familiar with the investigation are wrong. There is an apology. So the NBC component is interesting, and then the fact that I have had the source who said there was no apology, and then the notes come out and there's an apology. So what does this mean? Truthfully, I don't really know, but
I mean, this is the thing. Like, there are some sources that you will say, for instance, usually you'll still say a source tells me, right? But there are comfort levels about how you feel about a source, right? Especially until you really know who they are. Or, like, for instance, there was a child missing in a home a month or so ago that we were covering in Tennessee. I had a law enforcement officer from that department that this child went missing contact me and showed me credentials and everything and gave me solid sourcing, and I could, pretty much felt very, very, very comfortable with the sourcing. Everything came out to be true as well. So the question is, I mean, obviously Brian has good sources here. So does NBC. The question is, why, if the good sources, why do they think that there was no apology? Are they talking about a different letter? Or was something not made clear here?
been thinking about it, and I figured, you know what, let me make an episode about it, because I think it's something worth considering. Is there another note that exists that was not released where there is not an apology? Is that why there is this confusion? Is that why my source said there was no apology in the note? And is that why 3 sources of NBC News said?
You would think, right? Like, if it was a note in between the first 2 notes, it wouldn't make sense because it'd mean that they told the family twice that Nancy had passed. Yes, and you would think that. So, like, my question has always been, you remember, okay, so the second letter that we're talking about here, whenever Savannah and them came out and said, okay, we understand, meaning we didn't know at the time, but meaning we know that she's dead, but we still need our mother. Did they pass off, like, not even so much a note, but did they email something back, just a few lines? Maybe.
That there was no apology in the note. I think that's a possibility. I don't know for sure, but there is something that I think we need to take note of, for lack of a better word, with this whole situation, because it doesn't make sense to me that if that's the only note where there is very clearly an apology, and again, it says in the very last line of the letter, we are truly sorry. If that is the only note, then why did NBC News have 3 sources saying there was no apology?
It was
why
a correction
did I have
officer.
a source saying there was no apology? And why did Savannah allow NBC to report those things? Something that, and I hope this isn't confusing, but I think it's something that we should be thinking about. And again, I would not be surprised if there are pieces of evidence that law enforcement has that they are not making public. And I don't know if there's another note, just being transparent. I'm just sort of putting these pieces together. So to talk about this, and then also to talk about sort of the bigger picture of where the investigation stands, I want to play for you guys my interview with Dr. Kris Mohandie. He's a clinical police and forensic psychologist, and he's very well respected in the police forensic crime space. He's advised a lot of police departments.
That was recently.
So I asked him about this, but I also asked him about some bigger picture issues. He, by the way, which is different than a lot of the people who I've interviewed in the past, he does not think that this is a ransom case. He seems to be leaning towards this being a home invasion gone wrong, which is something people thought in the beginning. He still thinks.
I don't know why people think this was a home invasion gone wrong. I mean, it's very intelligent people here, but how the hell? I mean, a home invasion gone wrong. This guy is not looking at Nancy 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks prior for a home invasion gone wrong. That's not a home invasion gone wrong. This guy's not stalking the home for a home invasion gone wrong. He would have, if this was a home invasion gone wrong, he would have done it when Nancy wasn't there. She was just not at home. If this person was watching her every move, he would have done it when he was when they were getting in the Uber. How do these very intelligent people think this shit? I'm sorry.
So I'm going to let him explain his rationale behind that.
Let's hear it.
And I want to play you guys my full conversation with Dr. Mohandie.
Dr. Mohandie, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I've seen you a lot, but I haven't actually talked with you before, so I appreciate you making the time for me.
Thanks, Brian. It's nice to meet you. I followed you as well, and enjoy the work that you do.
Thank you, sir.
Exactly.
One thing I wanted to ask you about that I've been trying.
Exactly. Like I said, if this was a home invasion gone wrong, even if they, take Nancy, they're still going to take shit. I mean, come on. They're still going to be like, okay, we're still taking stuff. Load her up, but they're still going to go what their mission was to get. File the investigation up, and I think the reason is because he is in debt with his gambling. I don't know. I'm not usually a believer in conspiracy theories. However, in this case, it's almost as if a giant cover-up to protect a coup who many suspect may be involved. It's weird. It wasn't even a robbery. No, I don't know how people think this.
Trying to sort out is I had a source before the notes came out, a good source, who told me that the second note did not have.
Well, I don't know what was. I think it was probably unaliving kit, if you ask me. But I think that it wasn't empty when they went in there. You know what I mean?
An apology in it. And NBC News was also reporting the same thing, that there was no apology, no direct apology in the second note. But then when the notes were released on the 6-month mark, the second note did have an apology. And I've just kind of struggled with that. It's made me wonder if there are perhaps more notes that they're not releasing, and these are just 2 that they chose to release. I haven't been able to wrap my mind.
You know, and a lot of people don't believe this, but I still believe some of the notes from TMZ. I still do. A lot of people don't, though. Thank you, Miss Deb. Thank you, babies. 100% agree with you. If robbery were their goal, why choose the time when Nancy was actually home, stalking the property beforehand? How people are going to view the home invasion theory. Exactly. 1,000%. Like, people who stake out the property, people don't want someone to be there when they're robbing a place, right? They could have robbed it from 6 o'clock that evening till nearly 10 o'clock if that was the case. In my opinion, they wanted Nancy out of the way. Yeah. I think it was something to do with Nancy. I do. What that was, I have not a clue. But I do feel like it was something to do with Nancy.
Mind around that, just because my source is a good source, and then I'm assuming the NBC News source is good, and then you have Savannah Guthrie who works there. I'm just curious what you make of that.
I think there's just been a lot of communications that purport to be from, the alleged kidnapper or kidnappers. When you have a high profile case like this, people come out of the woodwork and they're transmitting all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I don't think that Lydia says, could they have needed Nancy for something? And to me, it's not. I don't think that they needed her for something. I think it's usually they don't like the person. They feel wronged by this person, or they have some sort of information that Nancy could have some sort of information that could potentially harm. They feel like that could harm them, whether that is going to the police for something or reporting something, or financially. But it's got to be something like that.
So it doesn't surprise me that the investigators may have held some of that back. It also doesn't surprise me that they may be sifting through these things and at this point decided that these were the 2 most viable communications, to beat the bushes with and try to get something to come out, because I'm skeptical about both of the notes being anything authentic. Nonetheless, you have to treat it as if it could be, and for no other reason. What if it is? So there's that. Plus, I think that they made the choice to release these things at this point in time, if for no other reason than to stimulate interest and maybe get somebody to come forward with other information. So the notes I'm skeptical about, and we can go through that if you like, as to why. But I do think it's investigatively necessary to look at them, put them out there. It worked in the Ted Kaczynski Unabomber case.
No, I think Nanos's junk has always been out there. I think it just became on a national level and much bigger after, Nancy's case. He's a dirtball, in my opinion. And with so many communications floating around, I don't think we can rule out that investigators have additional notes. They have not really. I agree with that. Seems like something else is out there at the very least. Nancy was interested in local politics. She absolutely was. Yes. was their info originally Nancy G had worked for social services at one time. No further discussion. That possibly slighted clients. Not that I have heard of, AM. Not that I've heard of, no. There was, don't forget, Justin, there was a card on the door from Adult Protective Services. Arizona just randomly, don't just randomly send people out there. There has to be a call. So I've looked that up, and they like when someone goes missing, they can report from what I have read. They don't necessarily always come out, but it does for me. I'm not discounting it or putting a lot into it either. I do find it interesting that, you know, could have Nancy have called, or could someone have called because of Nancy? Did Nancy tell one of her friends a couple days before she went missing, for instance? Did she call, or was she talking to her girlfriends and said, you know, this is really bothering me, this person's, you know, I feel like it's taking advantage of me, or even threatened or whatever. You don't know. You know, or I loaned the electrician, for instance. Not that I'm saying this happened, but I loaned the electrician some money, and he promised he would pay me back, and I've just kept giving him money, and he keeps promising me he'll pay me back. And you know, I'm going to have to do something. We got into a spat, you know, and I told him, you know, if you don't pay me, I'm going to have to tell your wife, or take you to court, or tell your mom. You know, you never know. You just never know.
To get somebody to recognize the writing. But it also is important because it gets this case out in front of people again, and maybe somebody now is willing to come forward unrelated to the notes.
Would they have a motivation to release notes knowing that they are skeptical of them, and that maybe there are different notes they aren't releasing that they are less skeptical of? You know what I mean? Like, is it possible they've released these notes but think that they may be unrelated? And what would the reason be?
Well, I think it is possible that they could release notes and be skeptical of them, just like I'm skeptical.
I think Simply Real, I agree. I don't believe the all-American apple pie public version of this family. I have a feeling there were deep-seated resentments and jealousies behind closed doors. I bet her friends know the truth. And I'll tell you, I think that is exactly why they have told the families, the friends and stuff that know them, please keep quiet. Please keep quiet. Please keep quiet. No family is perfect. Okay? But, you know, it's PR in a sense. They've got their missing mom, and they don't want the public side, you know, or the private side shown of, you know, maybe a feud that's going in the family. Could Nancy have helped buy that larger house for ANT because she was planning on moving in and selling her house? ? It was a lot of square footage for one lady. She tried to sell her home for a minute in 2024. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Because it is important to turn over every stone. So keeping an open investigative mind, just in case, you know.
Now, there was recently someone who said that Nancy's, or was allegedly an old neighbor that had lived there like 20 some years, they said that they never hardly saw Tommaso and Annie.
Do we know
Allegedly.
everything in the universe at this point? No. On the remote possibility that it might be, let's put it out there. It's not going to hurt the investigation, and in fact, it will keep interest up. And I think keeping interest up in some ways is the bigger issue. To somebody out there knows something, maybe more than one person, and putting it back out there again, getting people talking about it. Maybe alliances have shifted, maybe motivations have changed, and there is the chance that just the attention gets somebody to do something that they weren't willing to do before. So investigatively, detectives and investigation might release something they're skeptical about, just to get people talking about it again and maybe get somebody to come forward.
What makes you so skeptical of the notes that they released?
We don't know.
Layers of skepticism. For one, why are they sending it to a news outlet if indeed they do have, this woman as a captive? Why not?
I mean, I do agree with him to that, but that's nothing new in my opinion. Like, who sends a ransom note to these news stations and all that? If this, random person who's been doing research on Nancy, again, almost 3 weeks before she goes missing, if they've been doing all this research and all that, you would think that they would get Nancy or Annie's or Savannah's or Cameron's phone number or address to send them a letter.
Not ask her for the email address to send it directly to, Savannah. So there's that. Why send it to a public, easy, to identify?
You're right, Sherry. Lots of families have one weirdo. I just happen to be the one in my family. I came out singing.
Identify source. So, I have a problem with how they're communicating publicly about it, as opposed to more direct inner circle stuff. Also, the tone of it
law enforcement
was a little bit too not somebody that is really truly knowing what they're doing and in it. We are going to be holding her for ransom, or some paraphrasing. Why would you even use the word ransom? That's like you're having to call attention to what you're actually doing. If you look at genuine notes, they don't often make use of the word ransom itself. You don't have to call attention to it if that's truly what you already know you're in the middle of. And then you go from the we until this will be the last communication here from me, which is not uncommon for people to leak out that, hey, we're part of a group, when in fact it bleeds through that it's just one person. The Bitcoin thing is a bit much. I'd be most interested in were there legitimate instructions on how to get that Bitcoin, to an account, and that becomes an investigative lead that's significant. But the Bitcoin thing, the specifying US dollars, but not specifying.
Well, the Uber driver, I think was, from what I understand, was a really good person, and they had cameras and all that stuff. I still wonder about the one unanswered question, whether there was something going on in Nancy's life shortly before she disappeared that investigators know about, but the public doesn't. Yeah, did something happen at that Wong game or whatever she plays? Did something happen on her birthday? Before her birthday? Was there tension in January sometimes?
Specifying time zones. Why are you specifying US dollars but not the time zone? This happened in Mountain Time. So if you're going to go to all that trouble to explain, US dollars, which is sort of unnecessary unless you're from another country, and that's another series of layers here. Why aren't you specifying time zone? And just
this drives me nuts because I specifically said, I was probably one of the first people to talk about the US dollar part. And I thought, yeah, this is someone seemingly foreign. But then no, it's not. Well, I mean, I do still think it's someone foreign, but it's not. It's not. This person wanted $4 million, right? The Bitcoin ratio changes every day, right? They wanted to make sure, that they got $4 million. You can translate that into Bitcoin, right? So the person is just saying, when you write a ransom note, you're going to say, hey, I want $4 million or $10 million, right? Send it to me in Bitcoin. Well, when you go into Bitcoin, you're going to say, that's 30 Bitcoin, whatever. I know nothing about Bitcoin, which would equal $4 million. Well, if I waited a week and I said, I wanted 15, or I wanted, $4 million, and or if I said I wanted 15 Bitcoins, that could be, it changes all the time. So I don't think it's like that. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, represent, but I'm in Arizona right now watching you guys. Thank you, Brooklyn. I've been to Brooklyn many times, and I've been to Arizona a couple times.
Reality of it was, less than credible. The second letter, why would you now say you're not going to hear from me again? And then now you're communicating, and all of a sudden you found a conscience. That just didn't seem legit to me at all. The person.
And that's a very good point as well, Butterflies. I believe someone in Tucson, as they didn't say a time zone. Yes. I think they're from Tucson as well, because you're right, they didn't say a time zone, but they said, we'll need some time to get back in Tucson. To me, like someone says, yeah, we'll get back in Tucson. To me, that sounds like a local. If like she was really out, if this person was not really from the area, I think they would say, it'll take me some time to get to Tucson, not back in Tucson. I think that's a big difference. I'm not from Tucson or anything. So I would say, for instance, I took Nancy or whatever, I was doing this, I would say, it'll, give me some time so I can get to Tucson, not back to Tucson, in my opinion. Cosmic Shell, how you doing, baby? Thank you so much for the sparkles. Really do appreciate you, babes. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Connie, I'm so sorry I missed that earlier. Thank you so much for the sunshine. You light up my day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Inspecting Gazage. Appreciate you, my dear. Thank you, love. Person is hiding behind the radio station, so it would be announced to the public. Maybe. To let go toward Nancy's way. Just be careful. Don't get out. They'll arrest you if you're not careful.
That was at that door doing those things
good to see you.
Does not seem to be the sort of person that would write like this. The person that wrote these letters, at least certainly the first one, tech savvy, reliance on Bitcoin, communicating by email. There's some thought that it might be a person that is using AI to help generate some of the verbiage there. So, that tech savvy.
Bet me, it is not AI. It is not AI. It is not AI. Because, again, AI doesn't spell. wrong, even though there are creators that'll tell you they do, they don't. And then it wouldn't use sentences like we, and then I. Wouldn't do that. It's not going to do that. Wrong. The question I always had was whether it was written by someone who truly expected to collect money, same, or by someone trying to make it look like a ransom case. That's probably one of my biggest questions too, Deb. Is this someone just trying to fool us, trying to distract us, or was this someone who truly, researched Nancy out pretty good and just wanted some money? I think it's possible. I do think it's possible. I still think it feels more personal, though, in my opinion. To me, based upon where she lives and all this. But it's possible, right? I'm sure this man is highly qualified, but we are in true crime. We will agree on some of these points. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I agree with him a lot. I agree with you. Leaders' motive going public to humiliate Santa because her pain and retaliation. Leaders' motive going public. That's interesting. You think someone could have done this to humiliate Savannah, causing her pain and retaliation? It's possible. It's possible. They would really have to. I don't think it's a leader, in my opinion. I don't think it's this, I don't think it's national or anything like that. But it is true. Some people will, take a family member because it causes you more pain than it would your own life.
And the claim that they had inside information about the investigation because they made reference to the watch and they made reference to something that could be seen from the drone footage out back, the broken light. I wouldn't consider those two pieces of detail enough to say that that's inside information. Because like you, there were other people that
You forgot the watch, though, Doctor. You forgot the watch, though. First of all, the first letter came out within the first 48 hours. We had no idea. Public had no idea about that light in the first 48 hours. Number one. Number two, they would certainly have no idea. They might know what Nancy's watch is, but I've showed you guys that I've got 3 different pictures with Nancy with different watches on. Yeah, she would probably most likely have the smartwatch on now. Because of her pacemaker and all of that. But how the hell are they going to know it's in the floor? How the hell?
were present or had sources that were there. And that information was leaked out pretty early on and available. So I would think that there would be something much more intimate and personal, to render this legit. Further, I don't believe that the person went there to commit an abduction. In what situation would you take on an elderly person who has significant medical needs?
Oh, no,
that's
not at
a
all,
lot of
Liam.
logistical problems for a would-be kidnapper. Everything that I have seen on this, to me, seems like it was something that evolved. And what
I call it a smartwatch. What do you call it? What do you call it, Giggle? What do you call it? I call it a smartwatch. You just call it a watch? Or what do you call it? Just curious. And who might know about the watch? Let's see. Who's the first on the scene in the house? A&T. That is true. Last one to see him, first one to find it as well. Yes, the first letter probably scared the heck out of the relatives.
Wasn't necessarily planned. The possible
you call it an Apple Watch.
home invasion.
You call it an Apple Watch. I call them all smartwatches, or I just almost nowadays I just call them a watch. But
or burglary, yes.
I don't call them an Apple Watch.
Kidnapping, no.
It's interesting, though.
I think
I guess
things
maybe it depends where you're
unfortunately
at.
went bad in there, and that's what we have here, as opposed to a planned abduction. So those are some of the words. And then in the alleged apology letter, you have perished being the word. Like, who uses the word perished to describe that? And buried in nature, again, pointing towards possible AI, but also not what we would expect to see, from the typical kind of person that would get involved, in these kinds of endeavors. So I have a lot of reasons why I think it's incredible as opposed to credible. Nonetheless, I think it's investigatively the right thing to, tease it out, put it out there just in case. But more importantly, it's a tool to get interest back up again, and possibly maybe somebody recognizes who wrote it,
right?
Because there's something unique there. The person who wrote it is bright, and you can say that, well, that's AI. Nonetheless, you can say that that's AI, but they're bright enough to use AI, and there's only one real mistake in the letter. And they actually don't make that mistake the first time. Receive.
Right. Again, I did a poll on this the other day. I use AI every single day, and it doesn't misspell anything for me. It just doesn't. Why not use past or have died? I agree with that. I do agree that it could be a second language, and there you translate that in your head from your native language to the second language. You have to translate your native language into the second language. You do that. Perish and not buried in nature sounds like a lot. We are standing on ash, on scorched earth. It does.
Is spelled correctly one time and incorrectly the second time in the first alleged so-called ransom letter. So, you're talking about a bright, articulate, educated person that wrote both of these, and whether there was assistance by.
I don't think this guy goes to Stanford. I'm just going to say that. I don't think this guy goes to Stanford. Okay? I just don't see him going to Stanford. He might be a college graduate, or not a college grad. He might have some college. He might be a high school graduate. But I don't think this guy is anything more than average.
AI, they're still a tech-savvy person who's comfortable operating in that world and, using Bitcoin or referencing to Bitcoin and all the logistics of that. And that points towards, I think, a different type of person than what actually perpetrated.
No, I love Dr. Gary and buried in nature. See, I think this person was just saying, okay, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the reason why I think they put buried in nature. That they, how can I say it? Buried in nature is a very, it's a term that you just never really hear. Technically, everyone is buried in nature unless you're cremated, right? But the second note was an apologetic letter. Okay? It was an apologetic letter. And they were like I said, they were saying, we're sorry, we didn't mean this to happen. We think that she may have had a heart attack, heart related or whatever. I think if they would have said, because this is, you'll probably start hearing this on the news now, what I'm saying, because they were apologetic in this letter, it was better than them saying, well, we dumped her, on the side of the road, or, she's in the dirt, or you could say, they could say even buried, right? But they just want you to know she's buried with nature, that it's more, nature is you think of outdoors, when you think of the word nature, you don't think of hostile generally, right? You think of the trees, the birds chirping, all of that, right? They could say, yeah, buried, but to me, this is very sympathetic, this second note. And for me, that is, it tells me, in my opinion, that there was some sort of relationship with Nancy. She's pushing up daisies. Yeah. So, let's think about this for a second. You could say, well, Nancy's, Nancy she died. She's no longer here. We threw her in the lake. Well, why would, that's not sounding sympathetic. We threw her on the side of the road. I know this sounds rough, but again, this is apologetic. The first letter is, you give us the money or she dies. If you don't give us the money, she knows it's in your hands. They want to make sure that you know that you better know, she knows, I know, she's a goner. Second note, we're sorry to tell you this, she died. We think it's a heart attack. We hope your family can move on. Right. So, yeah, I don't
Did this.
You mentioned home invasion, burglary. I guess one thing that I've struggled with is why, if it was a home invasion or just a burglary, and then something went wrong, why would you take the person with you? Wouldn't that be more difficult? Like, why wouldn't you just leave them there and get?
Yeah. And that's, I agree with that, right? Most people who, a robbery gone wrong, or a robbery in general, you got to think of, like I said earlier, the last thing someone wants in a robbery is someone at home. Most robberies happen when you are not at home. They don't want to deal with you while they're stealing stuff, right? They don't want to deal with you while they're stealing stuff. So they could have done that when Nancy was gone. Again, if they were watching her for 3.5 weeks from the 11th to February 1st, they would have done it while Nancy was at her daughter's and her son-in-law's house. Number 2, if they're planning a robbery, they're not going to, they're not planning a homicide. They're not planning a kidnapping. Okay. So if they're going to do a robbery, most times in a robbery gone wrong, people freak the hell out and leave very quickly. they don't want to be running from the cops with a body in the back of their car, right? They don't want that. So it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, in my opinion. Moving a body takes generally planning, unless, yes, things can happen and people can freak out and stuff. But generally, if it's someone coming in, and starting to take stuff, and this is also the thing. They say that they did not, this is why this guy's wrong. They did not realize her health, which means they realized Nancy was old, but they didn't realize her health, if this letter is indeed true. Right? So that means they knew she was old. Well, if this person's going in there to do a robbery, and they're collecting things or whatever, and Nancy comes out, an 84-year-old lady, all you have to do is say, sit down. That's all you really have to do. He's got a pew-pew between his legs. Is sit down. Or, zip her, strap her up. It's pretty forward thinking, if you ask me. Tina B, thank you for the sunshine, baby. Appreciate you very, very much. Very sweet of you. Thank you so much, my dear. Many people in their 80s have health issues. Absolutely, Mohawk. This is the thing. Nobody gets better. We are all it sounds really depressing, but we are all, none of us are going up. We're all, that's just the facts of life. Nobody gets better in their 80s. You can be in great health in your 80s, but again, most people don't live much longer than that. Right? You might have 10 more years, you might have 20, you might even have even more than that. But statistically, it's not looking too good. You've kind of lived out your life. I'm 56 and like an 80-year-old due to disability. I'm sorry, Lily Ray. I'm sorry, baby. We're all falling apart. That's some days I certainly feel that. I can, yeah.
Get away.
Way more difficult. Perhaps there was a fear of recognition or identification. Perhaps the person was worried about DNA that they may have left behind if they left the person there. Perhaps they, I hate to even say this, but perhaps if she was already mortally wounded, the concern was about delaying the investigation by removing evidence being, present on a potential body of a person that was harmed. So I think that there could be evidence-based reasons for removing her from the household, from eyewitness identification, potential problems that the person may have perceived, to
I do think Nancy is technically evidence, if the body's there. But many people, if it's like a robbery gone wrong or whatever, they'll just light the damn house on fire afterwards. And that pretty much takes care of all that. 40 happy farm gal. I agree. Giggle. Oh, thank you, Italian. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Brian isn't buying some of the stuff this guy is saying. Look at his. I agree, but it's a guest, and He's got really good skin, the guest does, though. He really does. He's got really good skin.
Shoot, she's got this about me, or I left this piece of DNA on her, those kinds of considerations. So, bias, the idea of perhaps buying some time or delaying an investigation through the disposal of what they might perceive to be evidence. It's a horrible thing for me to have to say it that way, but that may be how they thought about it.
So you don't think, based on what you know, that it was a ransom?
No.
I don't believe that the person went there to commit a kidnapping for ransom. And if indeed any of these are legit, that was an after the fact determination, because again, this is a low risk victim person, an elderly person with significant medical problems. And if you've done your research.
I do agree with that. Right. Nancy is about as low risk on the victim continuum scale as it gets. There's really, I think that's not only because, of who she is and who her daughter is, but that's what's very perplexing about this is who does this to an 84-year-old woman? Like I always say, what does an 84-year-old woman, old people don't hurt anybody, you know what I mean? Especially when they're in their, 70s and 80s and 60s generally. They're just not, they're not into their hormones are lower and all that, and they're not as aggressive, and they just don't care. Not that they don't care, but they don't get into buffoonery. You know what I mean? I agree, Deborah. I agree. Okay. They hurt me with kindness.
Research, even basic research
very
in preparation,
low risk. Very low risk.
You would know this.
So what we mean by low risk. Okay. Someone who, for instance, is on the street and they deal in rugs every day, they are a high risk of getting unalived. They are a high risk, what they call victim continuum on the scale. All of we're all on a scale. It's basically our lifestyle. Or maybe our job, mainly our lifestyle, right? Where we live as well. If you live out in the, the middle of Kansas, nobody around you, you probably don't know as many people. There's not a lot of people around you. You're not likely to, low risk lifestyle. Exactly. Right. High risk is a pro rug user. It really depends on your profile of who you are. I can't believe that Nancy has been missing for more than 6 months. 200 days today. We still don't know who Borch guy is. No one fits his profile. He did not appear to be very smart. I think he's very lucky. That he got the dumbest sheriff in America. I think she was high risk because she lived alone, possibly of her doors unlocked at the times. They have no street lights out there in the kind of room. Well, I hear you, and that can be a factor, but a lot of people keep their doors unlocked, and a lot of people live alone, right? And they're not necessarily unalive. She doesn't live in a high risk neighborhood. It's not a place with crime a lot or anything like that. So I'm not sure I agree with that, but Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. But I do take your point with that.
And you wouldn't want to take on all of that.
Not
It's
for
a
3
lot of,
days.
it's a lot of work to keep a captive, and it's a lot of work if they have medical and any other special needs.
Is there any chance in your mind that this is someone who has a fascination with Savannah Guthrie?
A lot of people believe that, Babs, that this guy is like the distraction or whatever. A lot of people believe that. I don't, personally, because I don't think this guy is going to be the same guy. Like, this guy is on there the 11th. This guy is there on the 1st. And I don't think it's going to be, he's going to, if he's the ruse to look like the boogeyman, I think he would have just been there that one night, in my opinion.
And I asked that because it seems like in the videos, some of the videos Savannah made,
you're fine, Miss.
And I'm sure coached by the FBI, she was trying to like connect with the person in what seemed like kind of
1,000%.
intimate, interesting way. Do you think that's a possibility, that this is really more about Savannah?
So the question about whether this is more about Savannah and whether the offender or offenders were really about targeting her, some sort of stalker or person that was obsessed with her, it wouldn't be a secret who the person of interest might be. Usually if there's a stalking situation involving a public figure, they're going to know the array of suspects who have been over communicating, showing.
Yes, I do absolutely agree with him here. I don't think this is someone that is obsessed, like a stalker, lone wolf type of guy. They want to be noticed. I've heard people say, well, they might unalive Nancy because that's his. Hold on, I think I just set my alarm off. I think I just stepped on my key. Oh, no, it wasn't me. Okay, sorry. They might have, because that's as close as they'll ever get to Savannah, right? I don't agree with that. I mean, yeah, there are people that travel across the country and all of that first, because they're stalkers and all that, but there's a big distance between New York and Arizona. But not only that, a stalker vibes, they want to be noticed. If this was a person that was obsessed with Savannah, and just did it because of Nancy, they'll take the fall. This person would be obsessively trying to get a hold of Savannah. It's not someone that's just going to stay quiet and just because they have this secret obsession. These people do anything they can for that attention. Money. Well, I think it boils down to some form of money, or they're pissed off at Nancy for whatever reason, right? I mean, you could be pissed off because of money, but or of a feeling of being wronged in some way, shape, or form. This person betrayed me, or not that they were betrayed, but the sense of betrayal, or they have some information that could be damaging, that Nancy could have, that they wanted to shut her up. I feel that Nancy's lifestyle doesn't fit the profile of someone whose lifestyle would normally put her in danger, which makes the question exactly right. And that's why I was saying earlier that she's not a high risk, in my opinion. Question of why Nancy so important? She was targeted for what reason? Bingo. Does Nancy have a sister? Good question. I've not heard anyone ask that, Lily Ray. That's a good question. And I don't even know if they would be alive. Yeah, I do not like that she lived isolated and separated of her hearing so poor. But in all truth, why was she targeted? That's the question. And that's, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know who did this. But I do feel a lot of times, sometimes I feel like the answer is right in front of us. But you know how, and I hate to say this because I really hope I'm wrong, but you look at it and you hear the sheriff say everyone's a suspect, and then it feels like the sheriff gets scolded, and then the next day he comes out and he's like, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. And then we try to hear from Nancy's friends and all of that. And what happens? The family are told to shut their mouth. Okay. And then you have on her street, someone privately paying for all of these no parking signs or whatever. Privately paying for this. Now, the neighbors, in my opinion, are not going to give a shit about that. They are locking up YouTubers for covering a case. Now, again, if they're acting like buffoons in the neighborhood and being loud and doing crazy shit, I get it. But if they're just out there with the camera pointing at the damn house, you want the world to see this story. Savannah knows that every bit of attention keeps pressure on law enforcement. Right? Last ones to see her. First ones to find her. Again, I don't think this guy is Tommaso or Annie. I really don't. I'm just saying what I see. Right? Kathy Lee Gifford the other day, she's like, I was going to talk about Savannah, but then, the family came to me and said, please don't. Why wouldn't you want Kathy Lee? No, is it Kathy Lee Gifford? Is that her name? Kathy Regis and Kathy Lee. I just know her as Kathy Lee. Family told us, please don't talk about it. And then she's like, I know what I think, and I just hope I'm wrong. What do you know? And to me, well, and then you have sources. Again, I trust Ashley Banfield's reporting on this, saying that they were looking at Tommaso. Okay. And they come out and say, no way. No way. And that really, that really hurts whenever you have like a really good source and they'll tell you something privately, but then like if you have a police officer, they'll tell you something privately and you'll like tell your audience, and then the sheriff's office will come out and say, nope. And you're like, you motherfucker. Because they don't want to get, what they say, like they'll say, this person is not a suspect. Well, because they haven't been named a suspect. That's the reason they're not a suspect. Like I said, the clock starts ticking when they say that they're a suspect or an arrest starts. So what they mean is they're not a suspect right now. We're working on that. I'm not saying in this case I'm not saying A and T are suspects, but it is hard when Justin, that's a good point. This is why Nancy specifically, because her lifestyle doesn't explain the targeting, at least from what we know about her lifestyle. Again, the only way I can think of someone going in there for ransom is whenever Savannah was there in September or October of last year, when she was at that restaurant and they were doing a profile and someone thought, oh, I didn't know Savannah was from here, and oh my God, I didn't know her mom lives down the street. Or one of Nancy's friends' family or something like that. I hope not, Leslie. I truly don't know. But I can truly see both sides. And I have no clue. Love you, Summer.
Up doing strange things. The ones that I've seen that have tried to perpetrate abductions of their victims, they are well known, and they're going to be on a very short list that's going to be quickly identified. And the idea that there be some person like that has that degree of preoccupation or fixation upon her that hasn't already been vetted or investigated, to me seems unlikely. They would very quickly appear in this investigation and be looked into. I believe that her talking as a human being, trying to connect, is exactly what we want people to do in hostage and kidnap situations, is to try to find humanity in that person, to say, hey, this is my mom, this is a person, to get away from, ability to dehumanize the person. So humanizing and connecting is,
I've seen people in cases, that they've, they wanted to move out of the, like, for instance, they wanted to move in a different country or whatever, and they would have a family member that they would take care of, whether it would be, mentally very handicapped child or whatever. They want to move out and they unalive their kid because they wanted to continue on with their life, as sick as that sounds. Or maybe Nancy didn't want to move in with them. Maybe she didn't want to go to a home just yet. She was sound in her mind, but not her body. Maybe family members wanted to move to Italy, for instance. You never know. Some people can feel like one thing is the end of the world for them. I think that's probably highly unlikely, but
exactly what you want.
It happens.
A victim's family to do in a situation like this. And I don't think it reveals, that they think it is somebody that, has a preoccupation with her. I think it's what you do in these situations anyways. Say, yes, we love her.
Exactly. Yes.
I miss her. She has needs. This is a mother. This is a grandma. And
oh my God. GT is very late. Very. GT to the office, please. You're being paid. GT to the office, please. You're being paid. We need a late slip for GT. Good to see you, darling. Thank you for being here. Maybe T's parents needed help in Italy, and he was tired of taking care of her. And yes, she didn't want to leave her home. I don't know. Now, according to Savannah, they took care of Nancy every day, right? And of course, I mean, there's a difference in levels of care, right? There's levels of care of, just making sure, she's okay, giving her a call or a face, book, video, whatever, over the camera. There is going on and checking on her every single day, making sure she's okay, making sure she's taking her medicine. Then there's levels of care that you might be able to leave her for a couple hours or whatever, but you've got to make her meals. You got to make sure she takes her medicine. You got to make sure she takes a shower. I don't think she was necessarily at that level yet, but you could tell Nancy was declining in the last few years. You could certainly tell that her health was certainly declining, which is expected. What? 5 million payoff. Savannah can slap that together. I don't think it has anything to do with Savannah. You also can't take trips, vacations, spontaneous when you're a caregiver. You're right. Now, again, you just don't know the relationship, but could for instance, let's say Annie and Tommaso wanted to take trips, right? Could they call Savannah and say, hey, we need you to pay for someone to watch mom for 2 weeks, right? Would she pay for that? You have no idea how someone is with their money, right? Or how much they can afford. Just because you have, a lot of money on the books doesn't mean you have a lot of cash, right? There's a difference, big difference. Doesn't mean you have a lot of liquid money. Most people don't realize how difficult it can be to be a caregiver to someone that doesn't live in the same household, especially when you have children. Yes. I keep thinking about the turn of phrase, I want to be buried in nature, that I heard in a doc that I watched. I was in English translation from an Italian person. Interesting. Justin in AG. Is AG in another state and is TC with her or somewhere else? I don't know. I think they're keeping that pretty tight under the vest, but from what I have allegedly heard, she is allegedly in Vermont, allegedly staying around her brother. But again, that could change. AG never looped SG in because the relationship between AG and SG isn't great. You think so? Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I definitely want to see that. Okay, let me look at this one second.
And she's hurting and we're hurting, and to appeal to whatever humanity might be there. Because in my work with hostage takers and kidnappers, their sons and brothers and fathers and sometimes sisters or even mothers.
Pam, thank you so much for the Cash App, darling. I appreciate you very much.
Sometimes. And finding that common ground of
guys,
humanity is often where the solution is for creating a Stockholm syndrome, if you're like captive by somebody, or, you know, a bond by which to bring the person across to do the right thing. So I guess it was a long-winded way of saying, I think to humanize is always a good idea in these situations. And I think that that's as simple as what they were trying to do.
You mentioned your work with hostage kidnapping situations. It's really what you do. So it sounds like it doesn't feel like that to you. I mean, and this is based on the other cases you've worked on. This doesn't feel like a hostage or a kidnapping case. Is that kind of what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that I don't think that kidnapping was the primary objective. I don't think this was a pre-planned kidnapping. I think it happened based upon circumstances that in the mind of the perpetrator fell apart and in their mind necessitated taking her for whatever reason that might be. And it could be as simple as she could identify me or us, or the concern about evidence that might be present with her.
Mm. How unusual is this? I mean, it's now been more than 6 months. Have you seen anything quite like this? And like, where do you think the whole case goes from here? Like, what's your sense?
I'd say that fortunately, it's not extremely commonplace, but it's not unheard of for people to disappear, you know, under obviously foul play circumstances, and for there to be in an open investigation that goes on for months and sometimes many years. And it's my hope that somebody is going to come forward with information that can lead to resolving this for this family, because it's extraordinarily painful.
I don't think that they were as close as I think Savannah might think that she was close with her sister, and I think her sister, but I also don't think Annie, just in my opinion, told Savannah everything. Like the struggles. You know what I mean? Very different lifestyles.
The amount of suffering, the lack of resolution. And it's my hope that somebody does the right thing. Somebody that knows something, or even the person themselves.
If it was more than one person involved, do you think by now there would have been some kind of tip? Like if there was a accomplice or a getaway driver?
Guys, don't listen to Joe. Don't listen to Joe. He says things, just whack things. If you remember, you can spray him. We have a spray button for Joe members. Yeah, I mean, I think Annie and T probably smoke the marijuanas, which is fine. Who cares in today's world? Deborah smokes Selman. Yeah. I don't know. I think I think Annie is very I think they're very much into nature and patchouli kind of stuff, and those what are they called? Those I call them like hiking sandal looking things. All that stuff.
With such a large reward, do you think that information would have come yet?
I think if there's more than one person involved, I don't think it's necessarily true that person would be ready to come forward yet. Sometimes it takes time.
Yeah, I've heard that, Cosmic. I've heard that. That they were. I've heard that they were not. I think even Savannah has talked about it. Like she was. They just weren't. She was the last seen in Ashford, population of 400 illo, but I don't. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. No, not Birkenstocks. They're not Birkenstocks. That's crunchy granola. Yeah, which is fine. Everyone's there who you are. Be the hell whoever you are. Whether it's Birkenstocks or if it's someone like me. Be who the hell you are. Don't be ashamed of it. But that's just the kind of feeling that I get from them. You know what I mean? Kind of like the festivals, and it's kind of like those. Yes, you get what I'm talking about, Deborah. Not the Crocs. I don't know. I don't even know what they're called, but I know what they are in my head.
Over years, months, years, it may take time for relationships to change.
GT, oh my God, yes. Yes. The aesthetic is granola mixed with the fetish ball. Yes. Yes, that's exactly it. Oh my God, nothing has ever been said of she looked like Nancy's twin. We talked about that before. They allegedly did those swinger things, gatherings.
The sense of fear and vulnerability. Let's say one of these people is viewed as being particularly terrifying to others involved in it. It may take time for those bonds of fear or attachment to weaken so that a person feels safe somehow bringing information forward. And that's why it's important to revisit cases or keep them open and keep them out there. So as those attachments, those fears, those concerns change,
that's it.
As people mature, as it bothers their consciences, that
yes, the Tiva sandals. Yes, here they are. Are they Birkenstocks? Here they are. And if you like these, it's fine. Okay, you are who you are. A lot of men don't like a lipstick either, so whatever. So I don't take it personally. I don't take anything like this. These are the ones I was talking about, right there. Those. I didn't know what the hell they were called, but those kind of sandals. That's what I was talking about. Tivas, whatever the hell. You guys said in chat. So.
At some point, the opportunity is presented for them to come forward and do the right
thing.
Take
yourself too seriously.
I guess that would make sense of why they released those letters at the 6-month mark. Just, I guess, trying to drum up that kind of emotion, you think?
100%. And I hope for the family's sake, it's sooner rather than later that somebody does the right thing. But it's never too late to do the right thing, I think is the message.
And just my last thing, because I've heard based on statistics, it's usually someone.
No, they're not Jesus sandals, but they're Jesus sandals adjacent, in my opinion.
Who, like, it would be someone who knew Nancy or had some kind of connection to Nancy. Do you think that could be the case here, or do you think it was just?
I hope not. Please never wear socks and sandals together. Please don't.
You mentioned like home invasion. It's just, I've been out there. I spent so much time out there. For me, it's hard to wrap my mind. It's just this one random house in this big neighborhood. It's dark. She's just this old lady. I don't think she has real, from what I've heard. I mean, it's not like she has tons of jewelry or cash sitting around. That's right. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that it would have just been chosen randomly in the night, especially because we've learned that the person was out there days prior.
Well, one of my girlfriends, she's very granola, and she wears those sandals, and I'm just like, hey girl,
fire caught on camera, scoping it
life.
out. So I don't know. I guess burglary to me just doesn't fit based on what I know.
Well, random events can and do happen, but I'm in agreement with you that
You're right, Kelly.
is more than likely somebody that has some sort of at least remote connection to the family. They've, maybe a caregiver, mentioned something about the family, and that got somebody's attention that maybe is
I agree with him here.
not a great person in their circle of life. It could be as simple as that, not necessarily in that inner circle, but somebody that is in relationship there hears about it and thinks, hey, there's an opportunity here. So I don't think it's random either. I think that there's some sort of connection where they heard about a potential opportunity and decided to take a closer look, and that's, more likely.
But something, I wear Hey Dudes a lot, so a lot of people hate Hey Dudes. So
The scenario than just randomly selecting it because it's a nice looking house in this particular area. Usually there's a reason.
Probably.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a trusted person, but somebody that's in a relationship or heard about it from the trusted person. So it's that it's that expansion.
Like I said, it could be one of Nancy's friends, family members, and they could be, can you imagine, Nancy's friends that she hangs out with? Like, can you imagine how hard that would be? Like your friend and like your nephew or your kid, God forbid, you knew Nancy and they were on rugs, really bad, or I don't know, financially struggling or whatever. How embarrassing that would be for the friend. You know what I mean? I love Hey Dudes. But a lot of people don't.
Ending circle that has to be looked at to see, who in these,
I can't either.
Extending circles of connectedness, may be, the kind of person that might involve themselves in something like this.
Anything else you think is important that you think that people haven't really thought about?
I think any information, as small as it may seem, could be potentially important and the key to unlock this. So if there is somebody that heard somebody talking about, how much money they thought they could get out of this house, or boy, she sure seems rich, or she's got this rich daughter. It could be something as...
One of my sons likes long socks, and I can't stand long socks. I can't stand them. But I let him be him. Just do you, baby. Do you. He's starting to like shorter socks now, thankfully. My son wears Hey Dudes. He loves them. Yeah. I'm flat-footed as a duck. And people always says, if you're flat-footed, you need an arch. I can't wear anything comfortably with an arch. It hurts my feet.
Seemingly innocuous as that, or something else that getting the person on the radar screen,
I can't
may be, what it takes to unlock this. So no information is too insignificant to bring forward.
Well, I appreciate your time, Dr. Mohandie. Thank you for taking the time.
Very nice to meet you, Brian. Thank you for your thoughtful questions. And
I like the back.
I don't have the moratorium on I don't have a monopoly on what the truth is here. I think there's a lot of different ideas, and it's important for investigators to hold all of
thigh socks. I've never heard of thigh socks. We just wear long johns. I have a huge arch. I can't stand shoes at all, really. Yeah.
These as potential avenues. It's where they settle in on one theory. My theory, which is, botched home invasion or burglary, is one. The stalker theory is another. The, somebody has an axe to grind is yet another, or some, strange person could be yet another. The idea is that the investigators keep their ideas and minds open to any possibilities and avoid tunnel vision. So I think it's fruitful to bring up other possibilities, and the investigators thankfully appear to be doing that.
Really, really
I hope
appreciate Dr.
so.
Mohandie for taking the time to talk.
I hope so. I really do. I don't know. I think they got the world's dumbest sheriff, unfortunately. Want to show you guys where they found that body. The body, not that body. The body. God bless them, whoever they are, and their family. Someone's loved one. Yesterday, or was it day before yesterday? Also, I wanted to show you, did you guys see this? Man arrested after deadly stabbing outside Phoenix, Arizona police say. There's always something going on, it seems like. Do I have it here? 1 second. Okay. This is where the body was found in Tucson recently. Law enforcement are saying it's not related to Nancy Guthrie. I'm not sure how they know without identifying. And that's a good point. How do they know this is not Nancy? I mean, it could depend on how long the body's been there. But I just want to show you the landscape. I mean, again, when you're out in the desert like this, it could, every area has its own set of challenges. I mean, to me, this is easier than someplace like Summer Wells is, kind of like our neck of the woods. But still, everything almost looks the same, right? So this is the area. Now, look at there. Was it laying right here? Was the body right here? I wear them wooden sandals like a geisha. I can see you doing that, Joe. I can see that. Let me show you where this is on the map, by the way. Look at this area. I mean, that's this is probably not a very populated area, and someone just dropped, again, you see right up here, this would be more or less a perfect place because there's a road close by, easy access, probably not a lot of population there. There are cinder blocks there, yeah. It's from the other side. There's a trash can right there. Where is that thing? I mean, but look, there's homes around here as well. So, let me show you this. Mountains. And as you see, this is South Tucson, right? It's kind of, you can see there is not, let me show you, see this is Tucson, like it's crowded. But then right here, there's some homes through here, but it gets a lot more sparse in this area as well. What is the building? Let me see. Right there, Mohawk. It just looks like a metal building, if that's the one you're talking about. Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, bless you, Lily Ray. Bless you. It's the kind of area investigators would look closely at right accessibility by roads. Yeah. It was, I think, 30 minutes away. 33 minutes. Right, so down over, you get on 10 south, kind of like a step. So that's the area. But again, most remains are going to be, most remains are going to be very close to a place where looks like Star Pass. Are you from that area? 33 minutes, not long. Yeah, not bad. I believe the FBI are working hard to find her. Look how long it's taken for Seth to get his son's case. Yeah. So there's that. It's oh, let me show you this. I guess someone was they posted this picture of this guy. I guess, was this guy around Nancy's place? Was this guy around Nancy's place? The sad thing is it could take years in the desert to let go of her. And, sometimes it may never. You were on a delay. Yeah, Adam. Yeah, you can have both. You can have both. Yeah. What's that? It's some art or something. And someone put this guy, who was this? Oh, no, I'm not even going to show that. Never mind. Not even going to show that. So, we still haven't found Baby Emmanuel, sadly. I don't think Baby Emmanuel, there's nothing left of him. That is a truck he is in, yeah. Little Baby Emmanuel, I don't think there's nothing left. Poor kid. 1 second here. I'm going to show you this. Investigators into the Nancy Guthrie's case. 200 days. Damn. Here we go. Okay, why is it not going? Let me refresh it.
We have now reached day 200 in the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the armed and masked suspect caught on camera outside her home has still not been identified and remains on the loose. You see video of him here. Investigators believe
wasn't being
this
mean. I don't think he
individual
was
is a
being
man
mean about
between
it.
5'9" and 5'10". If you have any information about his whereabouts, about who this person is, you're asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI or 88-CRIME. And throughout all of this, the Tucson community isn't forgetting Nancy's name. The banner outside News 4 Tucson has become a place where people come to leave messages, rocks, and prayers for Nancy.
Okay, that's all they put on that? Okay. Well, that's that. Authorities said that there is no indication, quote, at this time, end quote, that the remains which appear to have been at the location for a extended period of time are connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. But Pima County Sheriff's Department search and rescue deputies are responding to the scene. Let's see here. That's basically all that's... Yeah, they just talk about the buried in nature notes and stuff like that. So, they said that how was, just curious. Let me just, wait a second. That's amazing to me. Think about that, guys. If this body was right here for an extended period of time, that's crazy to me. I mean, it's... But you know something, I'm telling you, a body can be right there and you not see it. It happens, I'm telling you. Thank you, Sammy G. Thank you, baby, for the silver star. Appreciate you. So, I don't know. Love you too, Lily Ray. They said it was there for an extended period of time. It's like right there. Like people, you would think people would pull up there to do their rugs. But the odor alone, yeah. What's considered an extended period of time? Well, I would think it would... Okay, let's think about that. Well, remember they found prehistoric bones. But an extended period of time, you would think that an extended period of time would meaning that they can't recognize the person. And I mean, I think in Tucson, it wouldn't take too long to not recognize a person, but there's definitely probably animal, you know, that, so there's that. You know, maybe they didn't have clothes on or whatever. Yeah, that really shows how difficult these searches can be in the area that looks open, conceal remains for so long. Yeah. I mean, this is right beside of a road, which most remains, again, are beside of a road or an access to something. Also out in the elements. Yeah. Now, if you believe the note, it says buried in nature, though. And the buried in nature, again, for someone to bury someone in nature, they have to dig. And to be honest with you, it's very hard to not only move remains by yourself. I don't give a damn how fit you are. But it's also hard to dig even a shallow grave. In shallow graves, normally animals dig them up, or partial. Prehistoric bones, oh, that was my spine. Right, Babs, I feel you, girl. Day 200 with those perps still identified really shows how important it is to keep. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a grave, a dug grave is washed behind. Well, they were certainly looking around there. I'm glad the FBI is still pushing the image of the individual because someone, I don't know. I really thought when we got that video and we got these pictures, I thought someone will be calling within 24 hours. Apparently, whoever this is, they don't have a big connection in that area. Maybe they're an immigrant or something. Or their family, they might be doubting themselves. No, my family member couldn't do this. They're not that type of person. Or they're just, keeping it hush hush. She probably isn't buried. Have they checked any lakes? It's Arizona. It is the wet season there right now, but who knows? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Okay, y'all. Well, that's sad 200 days. I know. We're starting fall, essentially. There's not really fall in Arizona or, Phoenix, or not Phoenix, Tucson. But, yeah, there's not much there. Weed guy could take a dirt nap. At this point, I'm probably a homeless guy hired, and that's why no one's missing him. What types of wildlife are in the general area that could disrupt the body? Well, the javelina are certainly one. Someone was talking about, let's see here, what kind of wildlife in God, if they ever let's see here, coyotes, badgers, javelinas, kit foxes are the main ones. Three mountain lions that ate. Oh my God. Did y'all see this 6 years ago? This is Tucson. Holy crap.
Now on the three mountain lions, as 9 on your sides, Craig.
Listen.
Human remains on the Pima County Trail. We're told they're no longer a concern. Arizona Game and Fish killed and removed them overnight. As 9 on your sides, Craig Smith reports that the agency says there was really no other option.
The Pima Canyon trailhead was full of hikers ready to enjoy a beautiful winter day. The trail had been closed until about mid-morning. But the visitors we met were unaware of a disturbing incident that began on Monday and carried through New Year's Eve. Human remains were found along this trail, and those remains showed signs of being disturbed by wild animals. Arizona Game and Fish was able to tell 3 mountain lions, an older lion, and 2 yearlings ate some of the remains. Game and Fish confirmed it by finding human remains in the lion droppings. They shot and killed the 3 big cats.
We do not believe the lion attacked the individual who died there. An autopsy will tell us more, but our belief is they were eating the human remains after the fact.
Was relocation ever an option for them?
No, because when you move a mountain lion in this part of the world, you're just going to put it into another lion's territory. They're very territorial and will fight to death over a piece of real estate.
Game and Fish says even without an attack, the fact that a mountain lion ate human remains is abnormal and a sign they may attack a human in the future. When we told visitors of the incident, they said it will not keep them from visiting the natural places they love.
I'm sorry, but why is that rare that a mountain lion would eat something dead? They're a cat. You call them mountain lions, we call them cougars here in Canada. That's not my idea of a cougar. I'm just kidding. We have cougars here. I don't know what's the difference? What's the difference in mountain lions and a cougar? There is no difference between a cougar and a mountain lion. They are the exact same animal. Puma concolor. The only difference is the name. Names by region. Mountain lion, most common in western United States. Cougar, frequently used in Canada and parts of northern and Midwest United States. Puma, used widely in South America and Central America. Panther or Florida panther, used in southeastern United States. Catamount, an older traditional New England term. Fast fact. World record, the big cat holds the Guinness World Record for the animal with the most names and over 40 different common names in English alone. I did not. I learned something today about that. A rabid fox was found here today. Yeah. Yeah. So there's no biological difference. Apparently not. I guess cougars, mountain lions are everywhere in the United States. Florida panther too. Well, you know what? I might get a Florida cougar and move to Florida. If there's any Florida cougars out there, I'm willing to relocate at this point. Oh my God. I forgot that we have here in Indiana, but we got them. Yep, they're a mountain lion or whatever. The more you know. That's right, Babs. Mountain lions, cougars are predators and will eat anything and stalk humans. Yes, they're very, very dangerous. Going to start calling men that after younger women lions. Yes. To call a term. What can we call? Like, I feel sorry for women named Karens, like really good Karens, because they get a rap, you know, some really good Karens. I'm heading to Florida too, Justin. Hey, girl. I call them pervs. Whatever works, girl. I ain't mad at you. I thought maybe there was a significance of the card A wrote to Nancy. I thought maybe they saw one together. Bobcats are more common. Yeah, we have bobcats. A lot of bobcats here, I think. Bobcats. We have black bear. Yeah, bobcats are smaller. They're smaller. And they got this is a bobcat. They're very pretty. Right. They will fuck you up, though. Don't let them fool you. Case any news? Jessica Matthews. Let me find that right there. 1 second. Damn, where'd it go? 1 second, guys. I haven't been following Carol the last couple days. My sister's name is Karen, and she's really Don't mess with Mother Nature. No, exactly. Yes, smaller but still scary. Yeah, I had a cat, not a Savannah, a Bengal. I had a Bengal that I bought several years ago, and I bought it from a breeder and all that, and it was a kitten, and it died. It just died. Like, I don't know. Cat was fine, and it just died in the middle of the night, I guess. I only had him for like a few days. I don't know what happened to him, and I called the breeder, and she's like, we can get a autopsy, and you can get you another one and all that. And I was just like, no thanks. That's the strangest thing I've ever had happen. Like, oh, thank you so much, Sammy. Appreciate you, love. You don't want to say kitty kitty to them, that's for sure. Always wanted a Bengal. Well, that was my experience with the Bengal. No, Joe. No, why would a Bengal? What do you mean? So then I got a Persian kitty, and his name is a cute little sweeties. My son is going to be a math tutor to the University of Tennessee athletic teams. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations. My daughter just got a Maine Coon. There's some really cool Maine Coons out there. The Russians really breed some beautiful Maine Coons. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will, Lord willing, see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to cover tomorrow, but we will figure it out if anything, happens between now and then. I need to do some work on Jack and Lily's case as well. My cat is a Scrappa from Discreets. That's what I'm screaming. They're amazing. Two of my boys, they have rescues. They're the best. Discreets. Love you too, darling. Thank you, guys. Good night. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take good care of yourself. You only get so many trips around the sun. Thank you, guys. Much love, everyone. Good night. God bless.